Another crime-solving movie that we covered is the only, so far, non-samurai Kurosawa movie that I have seen.
Same. Yeah.
Although, I mean, I guess we watched his, what is it, judo movie or whatever,
Right,
but
yeah.
Same deal, whatever, you know.
Like contemporarily set crime-driven Kurosawa movies, of which there are many.
Right. High and Low is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is Stray Dog.
Yeah.
Which feels like the progenitor of many things.
Yeah.
This movie
Definitely.
is about a young, like a fresh new cop or detective, I guess, who is on a crowded train and gets his gun pickpocketed from him. And he tries to give chase, but it gets away. And he is haunted by the things that his gun may be doing after it has been stolen from him. Some of the other cops are like, yeah, you know, you could get fired, but probably not. Like, you're just going to get disciplined. It's not great. It's not a good thing that happened, but, you know, just try and move on. He's like, I can't move on.
Yeah.
And so he becomes singularly driven to track down his specific gun and get it back. So the movie is following him, kind of trying to track down what happened by going to kind of linking into the criminal underworld, and kind of getting to learn more about their ways and find the way to, you know, the way to kind of words to say to, you know, meet the people who deal guns and track down the specific person who has his gun and starts doing crimes with it. And so at first he's kind of haunted by the idea. He's like, this is so embarrassing, and also like, it's really not good and I should get my gun back. But it ends up being used in violent crimes, and eventually his gun is the one that kills someone, and you can see it just tearing him apart, that this is what happened. So like, the movie really lays on a lot of like darkness.
Yeah.
It's like twisting him up what is happening with his gun. There's this kind of procedural aspect of like interviewing subjects, and then he ends up getting paired up with this older cop who is kind of is part of him saying like, I'm cynical about things and it's not a big deal, man. Don't like, we're gonna catch this guy, but like, it could have been anyone else's gun. If it wasn't gonna be your gun that he bought, it would have been a different one. The same crime would have happened. All this. And so we have this buddy cop situation.
Yeah. Mismatched cops.
Yeah.
On a case together.
Yeah.
Who have differing worldviews.
And their worldviews clash in the different ways that they want to handle the case. And, you meet the family right before.
The old cop brings them to have dinner at his house to meet the family.
And it's right before something really bad happens.
Yeah, definitely. This movie isn't. I would not describe this movie as a comedy, even though there is a lot of levity in it. Whereas I think I kind of associate buddy cops with primarily being comedies, or at least more than this is. But this does feel like a real sort of like. It's probably not safe to call this the first buddy cop movie, but it is certainly a notable early example of the genre. I think this counts as a buddy cop movie. Like, this has enough of the kind of staples that this might be the first time that it has actually like fully coalesced into like the form that we now recognize it as.
Right. Yeah. And similar to The Third Man, this movie is super steeped in post-war destitution.
Yeah.
This time in Japan. So, you know, there are a lot of people who are kind of pushed to the margins of society and into crime that he ends up interacting with. And he's got this kind of like moral uprightness to him. There's this movie, it mentions a lot this phrase
Après-guerre.
Après-guerre, which post-war, and so it's this generational thing of like, you post-war kids, you kind of see things a little differently. People who came of age after the war, and there's this kind of dynamic between the imagined other person who has the gun, and he hears that, he got like robbed at one point, and that kind of made him lose his morality, and now he's going and robbing other people and contributing to the cycle of violence. And the main character, he has also been robbed in a very similar way, and he used it as a reason to fight for justice and all that. But yeah, like there's a lot of political post-war stuff like we had in Third Man, of like the kind of occupation and rules being put in place by the U.S. in this case. Yeah. Like how it's affecting day-to-day life in post-war.
I mean, another thing with the sort of like the parallels between him and the guy who has his stolen gun, who bought his stolen gun and has been shooting people with it. They were both kind of set on their paths by being robbed, and took very opposing, kind of reacted to it in very opposing ways.
Yeah.
I think especially as the movie goes on, especially towards the end, it starts to lean even more and more into the idea that like these two guys are like more similar than they are dissimilar.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, or like either one of them could have been the other one had they made a slightly different decision. Like had their trajectory been reversed at one point, they could have ended up, on opposing sides, only flipped. And I think that is it's not a terribly like complex idea to put into this story, but I do think it talks a lot about how like there are no bad people, only bad circumstances. Yeah. I don't know if that line is in this movie, but that is kind of an idea that at least is posited by the younger detective.
Yeah, I mean, I think the perspective of this movie is very much what the younger detective feels. Maybe he takes it a little overboard, but that like it is your responsibility to respond to bad circumstances and not let them drag you down. It is your responsibility to like rise to the occasion to do good in response to
I think that is like
circumstances.
I think that is like the overall kind of like movie's perspective, or like Kurosawa's perspective. I do like how that isn't like the kind of opposing during the family dinner scene, like, old and young detectives have their sort of like opposing things where, right? What are their names? Stop calling them old and young.
Murakami is the young one, and Sato is the older one.
Like Murakami has the kind of more empathetic worldview, but he is also presented as like being very naive.
Yeah.
And I like how it is like he's kind of overcorrecting almost.
Yeah.
And then
it's his first case.
Right. And then Sato is like in the other direction, is also kind of like a little too far in the other direction. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But more, I do think, the movie is more on the side of Murakami.
And I think that as they start working with each other, they start, kind of...
Right. Murakami becomes more worldly, and Sato becomes a little bit softer.
Yeah.
A classic buddy cop situation.
Yeah. Speaking of these two characters, they are played by two absolute Kurosawa staples.
Yeah.
Toshiro Mifune, babyface Toshiro Mifune here as the young Detective Murakami. I've never seen Toshiro Mifune look this not greasy.
I don't know if I've ever seen him clean shaven before.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he's good in this, but like, he is so good as a grizzled weirdo in all of his other movies.
And it's really funny to see him as this like very clean cut, like, a presentable young man who's like, I just want to do good and fight crime.
Yeah, not this apathetic Ronin type that he usually is. And then Takashi Shimura, who is also in Seven Samurai. He's in Rashomon, and he's also in Godzilla, not a Kurosawa movie. He's like and in Seventh Samurai, he's just such a like a lovable grandpa type,
Yeah.
you know?
He's great. He's great in this too.
Yes.
He's always good. Reliable. I mean, Kurosawa has good taste in actors, I would say.
Yeah. One thing to mention, along with more post-war stuff, is as he's kind of first going undercover to find the gun or the gun sellers, he gets a tip that you kind of need to like walk around in these bad alleyways and look desperate. And
But I like it, the way he gets there. He's like around the police station. He's like, what can I do? And they're like, someone's like, I don't know, go talk to people who sell guns. And he's like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Like he's so kind of fresh faced and new to being detective that he like doesn't even think of that.
But he gets a tip from the person in the pickpocket world.
Yeah.
Like, your gun belongs to the gun people. So like it's this very almost becomes a bit of a John Wicky like criminal underworld,
right?
Like
descent into
network
the
of I like the kind of views, like little views into this kind of structures of the world of crime in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's
like we see like different pockets. Like we're introduced to like different characters and different lines of crime.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a scene in this movie which gave me very Bicycle Thief vibes. I wrote down
that
this
both
movie
are about
is like
someone who is robbed
Yeah.
and then is on a like desperate quest through the streets to find it again.
Yeah. I called this Law and Order mixed with Bicycle Thieves, basically. In its most Bicycle Thievy section, it's like a part that is really like something like 10 minutes long of him just walking around trying to look desperate in these alleys and, you know, crimey areas. And in some ways you should look at it and say, this is boring. Like, why is this so long? And why are there so many scenes of him just walking around silently? But it puts you in this mode of like being on the lookout. Like, who's somebody who might be the one who knows about the guns? Who are the people who, you know, you're analyzing the glances of everyone around him. I really like that scene, even though like on paper it is 10 minutes of him walking around, and not much else happening.
But I mean, that's Kurosawa, you know? You can make 10 minutes of a guy walking around the streets really interesting and compelling.
That is true. Yeah, he's good. He's good at making compelling movies.
I think the kind of like crime procedural elements of this too feel pretty ahead of their time. There's like there's like bullet forensics in this movie of like lining up bullets to see if they were fired from the same gun, which is cool to see. Just like the there's a lot of process in this movie.
Yeah. A lot of procedure.
Well, yeah, I guess true. It reminded me also of Seven a little bit, in that like old cop, young cop, investigating crimes and like sort of like visit, like there being kind of this like somewhat episodic feeling of them like going to different crime scenes,
and also like delving into darkness as they do it, right? Yeah, Sato almost gave me a Morgan Freeman kind of feel.
I mean, Family Dinner, like there's a lot of parallels there for sure. The bit where Sato's sort of closing in on the suspect, they think they figured out who the guy is, and they've like tracked him down to a specific hotel, I believe, and he is on the phone, like calling it in, and we just see like the feet come down, and he like overhears someone talking about there being a cop in the lobby, and then goes back up, and there's this like long extended scene of tension of Sato on the phone, like in the phone booth.
Yeah,
where you're like, he knows he's there. And also at that point, Sato is, you the audience know more than Sato does. Sato doesn't know that he's in danger, but we as the audience do. And there's just this elongation of time, and just like every little thing feels like it's gonna break the tension.
It's a nail biter.
Yeah. Really great use of weather as sort of a Kurosawa staple. Like the rain in that scene is really
okay. I want to talk about the rain actually, because this is, you know, if you want to bring it to another 90s movie, or no, not 90s, but almost, do the right thing, right? This is a heat wave movie.
Also, yeah, I thought of that too.
This is a movie where
constantly
the whole time
about,
everybody is sweating too much.
Yeah.
They're fanning themselves. They're just like, Jesus, it's so hot right now.
Yeah.
And then when the heat wave finally breaks and the rain pours down, that's when the darkness starts, right? Like the weather is reflecting the kind of narrative of the movie.
Right, yeah. Right, sort of end of Act 2 low point is when the rain happens.
Yeah. And it's also like this big release, right? We've been like searching, and it's this, in the heat, and then we found him, but it's like a sad finding because Sato gets shot, he gets away.
Yeah.
And it's like this.
But then
darkness.
Right after that, it then plays into the plot again too, whereas he's able to recognize him from the mud on his shoes because he's the only one with muddy shoes because he's out in the rain.
Stuff. Yeah, I love also that this person, we don't know what he looks like through the whole movie.
Yeah.
We talk to a lot of people who have seen him.
Yeah.
We
hear descriptions.
We hear descriptions of him, but it is not until the last moments of this movie
all the
that
descriptions
we know.
are also so generic. They're like, he's a guy in his late 20s. He has a linen suit, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, in the scene right where he finds him, there's like 8 other guys who are also in their late 20s in a linen suit.
Yeah.
Also, Murakami's a guy in his late 20s wearing a linen suit.
Right.
So it's like, that's another sort of parallel thing of it's just like his whole generation is kind of part of this.
They're they're big on linen suits.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that scene where, he discovers the mud on his shoes, that I think is the most tense scene because you're like, this guy's about to get on a train and get away, and this is his last chance to find him, and he does not have his gun anymore because he gave it away, and he gets this tip minutes before he can use it, and so he just runs to the train station and he's like, who is the guy with the linen suit? Who is the guy with the linen suit? And then there's too many of them, and then you can see how the desperation on his face, and he's like, think. Mud. It was raining. It's such a it's so good. It's so delicious. And then that becomes there. This is another movie that I thought of is The Mist, because this is a movie where you are counting specific number of bullets that are in a gun. And that's over the course of the whole movie. You know how many bullets are in this gun. And so there's this final confrontation where they're duking it out in the mud in a swamp.
The big like swamp like standoff kind of showdown is really, really good.
But like hanging over that scene is he has 3 bullets left in his gun.
Right.
What happens with those 3 bullets? It works so well for that scene. It's great.
Right, and then like Sato doesn't die. He gets shot, but he lives, and so like we get a nice happy ending. And and also like the guy who has the gun lives.
Yeah,
he brings him in. He doesn't kill him.
Yeah, and when he gets caught, the guy the bad guy with the guy that has the gun, he just barely gets this the handcuffs on him, and I think that he does this really great scream when he knows that he's caught. I think he's like kind of looking at the outside world for the last time, right? He's like,
maybe.
I think it kind of feels like he's like on the ground in nature, and he's just like, I'm not going to see this ever again.
Man, I didn't even thought of that. That is, yikes. Drawing the parallels between even just like the way that they're dressed, Murakami and the guy he's chasing, I think is kind of, again, part of that, like, I guess I sort of said this already, but like me and you, we're not so different,
Yeah.
They never really have that conversation, but I do like how just like the closer and closer they get to each other, to that confrontation too, like the more similar they start to seem a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then there's a line, I think it might be during like the family dinner, where Sato is saying like, the more people you arrest, the less sentimental you'll feel. Because Murakami's like, I want to help people. Like, I don't want to just arrest people. Like, I'm here to actually like do a public good. And Sato was like, that's not the job. Like, that's going to get beaten out of you, like, so quickly. And that's a thing. I've talked to people who have actually worked in law enforcement, and they have said things similar to that of, like, the job itself, like, strips you of empathy.
Wow.
Which is so, I mean, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
But I like how this movie is, I mean, it's not really dramatizing that strongly, but I like how it's, like, putting that in there, where it's, like, this is what has happened to Sato, is that he's been doing this job long enough where a lot of his empathy for the people that he is apprehending or chasing or whatever has been kind of stripped away. He's just like he's like, I can only do this job if I'm not sentimental at all.
And Murakami has a sort of similar dehumanization of the other side, because he has this like naive perspective of like, they're bad guys and I need to take them in. Right? There's a scene where he says, like, he's being asked about like his feeling toward the other people.
Right. He's like, criminal arrest.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I hate them. That's all. The bad guys are bad. He says.
Right. Yeah. But also, right, like, pretty early on, he right after he's done his whole sort of like walking the streets looking desperate thing, he finally gets a lead and is like immediately like, police, I'm arresting you. And when he brings them in, everyone else is like, you could have kept this going a lot. Like, you arrested a nobody. Like, everything you're actually looking for is like, you blew this lead. Right. Because he was just like, oh, I found a criminal, I will arrest them. That is what cops do. Yeah, having them both kind of meet in the middle a little bit more is great.
One little spare thing about this movie is there is a big scene involving like catching somebody involved in the story at a giant baseball game. It's like a baseball game with thousands of people at it. Must have been shot like partially at like a real baseball game.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Like the end of The Naked Gun as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like a kind of cool scene where there's a huge crowd and it's one person of thousands and
right,
thousands.
The way that they get him is they like call him out in the Jumbotron. Like, there's someone here to see you, like in the lobby or whatever. Like, that scene was really cool. And it also feels pretty maybe influential, like just like detectives trying to catch somebody at a baseball game.
Yeah.
See, definitely is something that I've seen before. But not this early, I don't think.
The Japanese love baseball.